Hello, I'm Lori Steiner, sitting in for Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, open the page to the Cleveland Public Library's latest bookings. Then, tap into technology to stop fretting about your finances. We'll log you on. Are you running hot and cold? We'll change the way you think about the change of life. Plus, we'll get a snapshot of our history through the lens of a Cleveland photographer. And can insurance protect your home value from a drop in the market?
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Tax help, Medicare advice, and DVDs delivered to your doorstep. Can one place really provide all of these services? Yes, and that place is the Cleveland Public Library. Director Felton Thomas is here to serve up some of their many services. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for having me.
Wow, wide variety of services. You actually have a service that lets the library come to your home?
Yeah, it's our homebound services. We have certain patrons who, for some reason, health issues or they just can't get out of their home, who are homebound. And for them, we want them to have the same access as those who can walk into our libraries. So they can call our service and we will work with them and mail them the items directly to their home.
So how did they get what they're looking for?
Well, what they do is they call our service, so it's open from 10 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. And they talk to our staff, and the staff will look for what they're interested in. They may have specifics that they're looking for, or they may have items that that our librarian will recommend to them, and whether they're books, DVDs, or e-audio books, or things of that nature, we'll have those items sent directly to them.
Okay, how long do they get to use them?
They get them for 3 weeks, and then the items, when they receive the items in the mail, inside is a package with already postmarked so that they can send those items directly right back to us. So have 3 weeks with them.
And it's certainly completely free.
Absolutely. Remember, we like free.
Yes, we do. All right. That makes sense because you're the library. But also Medicare programs, how does that fit into being a library?
Well, we look at ourselves as a community deficit fighter. So in areas where people need help, we're going to find ways to do that. And the Medicare Assistance Program and doing a program on it, which we are Tuesday, March 27th, is a way of us reaching out to our community and making sure that we provide them with the information that they need to be successful.
What's the, how is that going to work? Is it out in the branches or?
This program is going to be done on the 10 a.m. in our main library in our social sciences department, and they can just come in and there will be counselors there and the ability to get one-on-one assistance.
Okay, with any questions they have with regard to how their Medicare is working?
Any questions they may have about Medicare or OSHA.
Oh, that's fantastic. You also have another offering that's very timely as we're getting into tax time.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, you know, it's always a difficult time and we want to make sure that for any folks that need assistance with their taxes and come down to any one of our libraries and get assistance. So we have programs across the city, and then we have some programs that are for seniors and some programs that work with different age groups. So anyone can come in, and we will have on our website a listing of where they can go in and get assistance.
Okay, it's for anyone though,
anyone.
Not just seniors, but it's for everyone.
Not just seniors, anyone.
And it's free.
And it's free, but we do have certain programs that we specifically have for seniors, because we want to make sure that they get tax assistance when they need it.
Do they have to make an appointment to get their tax help?
They can call their local library and set up an appointment, and some libraries just have walk-ins.
Okay, and then there was one other program that you were mentioning to me as we started talking earlier.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to everyone about our Harvest for Hunger program called Food Fines for Food. So if you have fines and sometimes people don't bring their items back, not saying anything, Miss Lori, but if you have fines on and you would like to help by the Harvest for Hunger program, which is a part of the Cleveland Food Bank program to help people who have food insecurity. You can bring in an item, one of 6 items that will be like canned food or cereals or something of that nature, and we'll take $1 off each item you bring in off of your fines.
Okay, so that sounds like a very good program as
Yes.
well. Great information that you gave us. So if you're homebound, you can get books sent to you. If you have Medicare questions, you can attend the March 27th seminar. If you need tax help, you can make an appointment. And if you've got fines on your books, there's a little amnesty program going on right now. This is all offered by the Cleveland Public Library, and everything is free. To find out more, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Felton Thomas for serving up these priceless services.
Learn more by calling the Cleveland Public Library at 216-623-2800 or click to www.cpl.org. Next, investing in technology. But first, for exercise, we've seen several of our presidents lace up their sneakers to pound the pavement. But who was the very first leader in our country to really run circles around his successors? We'll jog your memory with the answer when we return.
Good Neighbor Pharmacy locations accept your Express Scripts and TRICARE benefits. If you're an Express Scripts or TRICARE beneficiary, contact us today to transfer your prescriptions. You'll be happy you did. Find the store nearest you at goodneighborpharmacy.com.
In Conneaut, visit Gertie's Pharmacy. In Ashtabula, go to Hoffman's Pharmacy. In Newton Falls, visit Newton Falls Pharmacy. And in Wyndham, go to Wyndham Pharmacy. For more information, go to goodneighborpharmacy.com. Good Neighbor Pharmacy, the best medicine for your health.
Teddy Roosevelt comes in first as the premier president to run for his health, not just for office. Each day he jogged around the Washington Monument, exercising his right to physical fitness.
Way back in the 19th century, Thoreau said, "Simplify, simplify." And his life was a lot less complicated than ours today. Nowadays, even our financial files can be overwhelming. Bank accounts, investments, savings plans, who can keep track of it all? Here to help us with that is Jim Lineweaver, and Jim is a certified financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. He's here to help us simplify, right?
Yes, keep it simple.
That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
But it isn't our imaginations, right? I mean, things have gotten a lot more complicated.
They have. As the internet has made so many things more available, you'd think it'd be easier, but it's actually complicated things. Because like our parents and grandparents had a checking account, savings account, and then they just run to different banks to see who offered the best CD rates.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it.
And the
But
toasters.
Exactly. But now you have 401ks and IRAs and pensions and profit sharing plans and kids 529 plans and stuff. So you got to really find a way to get this well organized so that you can concentrate on your work and then also have some family time.
Okay, so you mentioned well organized, and I assume with the way our economy is and this financial information is really important.
It
so
is.
how do you go about doing something?
Well, there's
like
some
that?
online software packages and stuff that you could purchase, or some of them you can get for free. But the key is that you got to be careful about how much information you're giving them and what kind of access they will have to your account. So if you're going to look at some of these online sites, or even purchase something like, say, a Quicken, which is pretty one of the most comprehensive software packages that you can utilize. What you want to make sure is you're really doing this in what's called a read-only file. So they'll go out there with your password and ID and pull that information into that site for you so you can have consolidated reporting. But what you want to make sure you don't have in there is you're not giving them permission to like go into your bank account and maybe withdraw money or change different things around. That's the kind of stuff that you got to be careful of. So it's got to be like a read-only type of file.
So so if somebody hacks your program, you don't want them to be able to get in there and do any of these things.
Exactly, and that's why you got to have a lot of protection around things along that nature.
Okay. If we can see everything, that's all great. Now we see what we have, all this complicated stuff, but how do we get it so it makes sense, that it's got some kind of organization, as you say, so we can work with it and know where we're going from this point forward?
This is where technology has helped us, because not only can they aggregate things, but you can dump your information into a lot of programs now in order to make sure that you're charting and on track for retirement and kids' education and things along this nature, because life throws you a lot of curveballs.
Like trackers or forecasters you're talking about?
Exactly, yeah. So like a software package that we have through our website for our clients is something that it provides the online consolidated reporting Matter of fact, here's an example for your viewers, so it can give you a nice pie chart and list your accounts and do all those things and track it, but also...
So this is giving you the information that you're looking for.
Right, and it'll populate daily, so you can stay on top of that. But then inside there, too, what we do is we offer programs that can kind of chart your investments and keep on track or put in retirement dates and make sure you're going to meet those goals and objectives down the road.
Okay, so you're giving them the information and the tools with which to crunch it to know that they're on track.
And everybody should at least do that annually. And then that's what a lot of the software packages will combine out there today. But what happens is ours takes one step further.
Okay.
Because it's very important. We have a lot of clients that travel around the world or maybe go live somewhere for 3 or 4 months throughout the year, and they're not going to gather all their financial documents and take it with them. So we also have what's called a vault in our system. And in there they can put tax returns and powers of attorney and things along that nature, so that if they really need to, they'll have access to this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all around the world. So it can really put their financial things right at their fingertips.
Make it really easy for people. That's fantastic. Financial matters are complex enough. So follow Jim's advice and simplify by simply gathering all of your information in one safe online place. To find out more, simply give Jim a call. His number's next.
Find out more by calling the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or visit www.lineweaver.net. Next, Menopause, what's hot and what's not. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Listen to the sounds of movies when the Cleveland Pops presents A Tribute to John Williams. Saturday, March 24th. Enjoy scores of themes from Star Wars to Harry Potter to Superman and E.T. But don't shut your eyes or you'll miss scenes from these famous flicks projected onto giant screens. To order tickets, take note of this phone number, 216-765-7677, or key into their website, www.clevelandpops.com.
As the saying goes, the only thing constant is change. We can see how things are changing all around us. But as we age, we also realize things are changing inside of us, especially for women. Let's just say it's called the change of life for a reason. What are the best ways to manage your life through this change? Gynecologist Dr. Lori Hollins has a few ideas. Dr. Hollins is with Metro Health. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Good information for me and a lot of others I know that are out there. So most people can tell when menopause is happening, but what are the most common symptoms to look for?
Well, first of all, women notice irregular periods, and they may even obviously stop having periods altogether. Hot flashes are very common. Insomnia, difficulty with sleeping, sometimes difficulty with concentration. Some women may start to have some sexual difficulties as well. So all of those are basic symptoms of menopause.
Okay, and I know you're going to tell me this is all normal. Doesn't feel like it's normal, though.
No, it doesn't feel normal. I mean, I think change doesn't feel normal most of the time when we're in the midst of it, but this is all part of the process. That's how we're designed as women. Changes of menopause start happening in the 40s. The average age of menopause is about 50, 51, and women can have symptoms up to 7 years before they actually stop having periods altogether. Yeah.
Big impact on your life.
Yes, it
so
can.
how do we deal with all of this going on?
Well, initially, about 10 years ago, there was a health study called the Women's Health Initiative. And it actually wanted to look at what was the best way to treat menopause because we had this idea that hormones were the best way to treat it. And actually, I participated in the research study, and what came out of it was that actually hormones are probably not the best way to treat it long term. For short periods of time, it's helpful as far as hot flashes and some of the mood changes.
How long is short?
Actually, only maybe a couple of years, maybe 3 years at most, because we did see that the hormones cause an increased incidence of breast cancer, for one thing.
Not so good.
And actually, they weren't protective against heart disease as well. So a lot of women.
So what else do we do?
Well, I think that there are lifestyle changes that we have to make, and I can kind of use myself as an example. I think we all want a pill to fix this, especially when we're going through menopause. I mean, I actually did take hormones for a short period of time, but I stopped because I have a strong family history of breast cancer. So I've kind of had to learn to adapt. Normally, I don't wear sweaters. okay, because I have hot flashes still, and matter of fact, a lot of times I will wear a tank top. For example, at night, because I sometimes wake up with hot flashes, I tend to keep my house very cool, like under 65 degrees, and when my kids come home from college, they're like, "Mom, it's freezing in here." I also counsel women all the time about diet and exercise, because one of the things we all complain about is weight gain with menopause. And I think there's a myth that you can't lose weight after menopause, but I think I'm a prime example that you can.
Okay.
So those are all kind of things that you can work on.
And I know you mentioned to me a holistic approach.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I think the holistic approach is that a lot of times, I mean, because we're baby boomers, we often still have children that need us, and then we also have parents that need us as well. So I think you have to look at your whole life. I think menopausal symptoms can be exacerbated by the things that are going on in our lives, having to take care of older parents.
Stress makes everything worse.
Absolutely. And so I think, and depression is more common in women, but I think you have to look at, reassess everything that's going on in your life, and look at, are you caring for elderly parents? Is your job, are you having job difficulties? I mean, what's going on in your marriage? I mean, I think you have to look at all those things as well.
Big change, and you got to look and see if other things might need to change to make it better too. So when it comes to the change of life, you may need to change your mind on how you approach it. For ideas along with medical tips, don't miss Metro Health's Pep Talk, Menopause, What's Hot and What's Not, coming up on March 22nd. My thanks to Dr. Hollins for her life-changing advice.
To make an appointment with Dr. Hollins, call 216-778-7624. And to register for the Pep Talk, log on to www.metrohealth.org/peptalks. Next, pictures that peek into our past. It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello, I'm Mike Carvin from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to do front raises to work our shoulders. All right, we got some dumbbells here. We're ready to go. We're going to start with our feet together. Okay, we're going to keep good posture, so we're going to stand nice and tall, beautiful, with your palms facing your thighs. Hold the dumbbells in your hand and simply raise them straight up to about shoulder height and back down. Once again, this exercise works best when done with slow and controlled movements. Straight up, straight down. How you feel that? Feeling good?
Feeling's all gone.
Okay, all right, everybody. 3 or 4 sets of these, 12 to 15 repetitions would work best. 16-ounce can equals 1 pound of additional weight if you do not have dumbbells at home. All right, everybody, now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
Picture this: historic snapshots of the 1920s to 1960s, a photographic history of a community and the man behind the camera, a showcase of the rich, diverse, and complex life of African Americans in Cleveland. To see all this and more, simply look through the lens of Alan E. Cole, a special exhibit at the Western Reserve Historical Society. Samuel Black and Dr. Regina Williams are authors of a book by the same name, and they've joined us to share more about the man and the exhibit. Samuel Black is the curator of the African American collections at the Senator John Heinz History Center in Pittsburgh, and Dr. Williams is Associate Professor of History at Cleveland State University. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
It sounds like a very interesting book. I think we showed some pictures from it as I was introducing the two of you. I'm going to start with Dr. Williams. First, for many of us, Alan E. Cole is a brand new name. So tell me who that is.
Well, Alan Cole was, we'd like to say, a documentary photographer, but certainly someone who contributed a lot of visual evidence for the Call and Post, the historic black newspaper here in the city of Cleveland. It's more than 90 years old now. And the wonderful thing about Alan Cole's work is that now we have databases that contain the information from the Call and Post. So the materials in the Western Reserve Historical Society's collection complement other materials that people can access, for example, in the library, and do further research on the man with the roots, family roots in Virginia and West Virginia, training at a historically black college, eventually migrating north, stopping in Cincinnati, but settling on the north coast of America here in the city of Cleveland.
Okay, so he was post-slavery era.
Absolutely.
Actually went to college, and then he blossomed into this, as you say, documentary photographer.
Yes.
So I understand that he had a studio during the Depression, and he had a sign in this studio that said, "Somebody somewhere wants your photograph." So, you know, tell me about that. What's the story behind it? What was he trying to do?
Well, basically the sign was in the yard leading up to the front door of his studio on Cedar Avenue. And the sign was used basically for advertisement of his photography business. He was a businessman, so it was a great advertising tool for him.
To get people to come in and say, "What are you talking about out there?"
And he would post images of people who lived in the community, whether they were clergymen or business people or someone's mother or grandmother or children, just as a way of attracting attention. Cedar Avenue was a walking community, which is a culture on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, leisure time. People would stroll up and down the street. So it was a great way for him to advertise his business.
Okay. So, and also, Mr. Black, what can we learn about Cleveland's past, about the people in this community that you were talking about?
Well, you had everything. You know, the best thing about Cole as being a documentary photographer is that today we can look back and learn about the black community of Cleveland from that time. Alan Cole had taken pictures, as I mentioned, of businessmen. He documented institutions, for instance, programs at churches, parties that families held, private parties, jazz clubs. He took photographs of so many people and so many events
Things in
the
regular
community.
life.
In regular life. So we can look back at those photographs and we can learn about people's habits, their lifestyles. He documented everything from the struggles that black people were facing to the triumphs.
How about, I know the Call and Post Boys was a famous photo.
The Newsboys, yes.
Okay.
From the 1930s. These young men, well, let's just say children, were very busy during the Great Depression, again, getting the news on what mattered to black people in the city of Cleveland, to households throughout the community. And they're my inspiration. They're entrepreneurs like Alan E. Cole. Again, in the midst of some very desperate times, they're doing this great thing, generating not only income for themselves, but winning prizes for their hard work in the process. So again, that's one of my favorite photos, and one that's reprinted a lot of different publications over the last, I would say, 20 years or so. I've seen that picture a lot. Yes.
Well, it sounds like the book and the exhibit are just going to be fantastic. So, you know, it is fascinating to look through the lens of Alan E. Cole, where you discover social organization, women's and men's club, church and civic and church groups, school children, teachers, businessmen, politicians, in other words, really the community. The exhibit continues at the Western Reserve Historical Society through May 25th, and the book is available at the Center's museum store. My thanks to Dr. Black and Dr. Williams for joining us today.
Find out more about the exhibit by calling the Western Reserve Historical Society at 216-721-5722. And you can purchase the book at the History Center Museum Store or online at www.wrhs.org. Next, the pros and cons of new insurance to protect the value of your home.
Hi, I'm Trapper Jack for Nelson Vein Clinic. It has to do with removing varicose veins. Deb, you had the process done when?
Just 3 days ago.
And how did your legs look before?
They look like a road map to Akron.
Yeah. Were you shocked at how fast everything took place once you were here?
Absolutely. Not more than 30 minutes. I actually felt no pain. I felt no discomfort.
Was it even less painful when you found out it was covered by insurance?
Of course. It was an amazing experience, and she's an amazing doctor.
Isn't it time you took care of your varicose veins? Call or log on to nelsonvein.com.
Selling your home today can be really painful. Prices are still way down, and you might not have the luxury of time to wait for bounce back. Wouldn't it be nice to have an insurance policy that can make up for your loss in a home's market value? Well, the insurance industry has come to the rescue. They've come up with a policy that does just that. It's called Home Value Protection Insurance. But is it truly valuable, or is it just a scam? Here to analyze this new coverage is my law partner, Mike Solomon. So what is this Home Value Protection Insurance?
Well, just like you said, this is insurance you buy to cover you in case your house drops in value.
Okay. Give me an example of how it works.
Well, let's say your house is worth $100,000 and you buy this insurance. It might cost around $25 or so a week. and a month. And if you buy that insurance, the house drops, let's say, from $100,000 down to $80,000, you'll get paid by the insurance company up to $20,000. Now the limit is 25% of the loss in value.
Okay, sounds good, but there's got to be a catch. What's the catch?
Well, like anything, there's several catches. One of the catches is typical, by the way. If you buy insurance, you're not going to be able to go backwards and get the past loss. So, houses have dropped a lot. So if your house is worth $100,000 today, but was worth more in the past, obviously
you can't
you're
go
not
back
gonna,
and reclaim
yeah,
that
that's
extra.
right. You can't go. Now, the other thing is if you think real estate has hit the bottom, then it may not be as good of an investment because it's not going to drop anymore.
Right, it's going to go up. Okay, if your own home goes down, but in the neighborhood it's stable, will you still get a payout?
No. What this is the insurance uses an index based on the zip code area, and if that index shows that houses in the whole area have stayed stable or gone up, but your house dropped 20%, you're out of luck. You don't get any coverage.
Okay, and does it matter how long I lived there?
Well, that's important too. The insurance only lasts for 10 years. And in the first couple years, the first year 1 and year 2, there's a high deductible. So it only makes sense if you think you're going to be selling the house in the 3 to 10 year period.
Okay, you're going to be there a little while at least afterward. Right. So, thinking of all of these pros and cons, does it really make sense to get this insurance?
Well, there is a columnist at the Wall Street Journal who said this is the stupid investment of the week. So I'm not saying it's that bad, but it's a new thing, and you ought to be very careful before you jump into it.
Okay, well that sounds like good advice, hopefully. Okay. Hopefully houses go back up and we don't have to worry about it anymore. But over the last few years, it sure would have been nice to have insurance to cover the loss of market value in our homes. There's now a new insurance product to cover these kinds of losses in the future. But you can't recover past losses, so be careful. Don't let fear drive you to a bad decision, or you could be paying extra for a product you don't really need.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in next week when we'll find out how to make the beat go on for your heart. Plus, we'll polish up ways to help your teeth look younger. We'll paint a beautiful picture of the new Rembrandt exhibit as well. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.